What's going on, Washington Commanders Nation? It's your boy Rio Robinson coming back with the latest and greatest from the Rambling with Rio Robinson YouTube channel where we ramble about the Washington Commanders. Today is Tuesday, December 26th, the day after Christmas. Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, or whatever holiday you subscribe to. Hope y'all had a very excellent one. Hope the vibes are on an all-time high. Sunday, I almost lost my mind watching this Washington game. I had to work Sunday. I watched the game at work, and I almost lost it. Washington had one job. They have one job to do for the final 2 weeks of the season. Lose. And in a game where we were down 27-7 at half, Washington ended up only losing 30-28, and Jacoby Brissett had them boys ready to win a football game. You know, good for Jacoby, but better for us that we actually lost the game. For those out there calling people tankers, there's no tank going on. This is a bad football team. I would argue Washington is playing the worst football in the entire league, objectively. Even the Panthers look good Sunday. They finally got Bryce Young humming. The Panthers, Raiders, and Chargers have looked better since firing their coaches, and Washington has been the worst team in the league for the last 6 weeks. Period. Everybody's ran amok on this team. And if it wasn't for Greg the Leg Zerline and Ron being Ron, we might have fucked up draft position, fumbled the bag, and won a game on Sunday. But shout out to us for doing what we do, finding ways to lose, and shout out to the New England Patriots for upsetting the Denver Broncos and ruining their playoff hopes and winning a game Sunday so that we now jump the Patriots and sit in the top 3 of the 2024 NFL draft. That is all that matters for the rest of the season. None of the rest of it matters. It doesn't matter who they start these last 2 games. We're not winning either game. San Francisco and Dallas are playing for playoff seeding, and Dallas is playing for division. So they're not going to be playing their B and C squad versus Washington at FedEx Field either of these final 2 games. And San Francisco's coming off of a nationally televised ass whooping on Christmas Day, done by the hand of our Beltway brothers, the Baltimore Ravens. It's going to get ugly these last 2 weeks. It don't matter who they start the last 2 weeks at quarterback. We're not beating either of these quality opponents. We can't beat a bad opponent. We can't beat an inferior opponent. We're not beating a good team. Lose out, go 4-13, and let's pray some things go our way. See, the way that this strength of schedule stipulation works, the lower your strength of schedule is, the higher you'll be. So the fact that we sit over New England is because we have a lower strength of schedule than them. So they're meaning the easier your schedule is and the ass you are, that's the higher you'll pick in the draft. So we're good to go on that point. And if you can see Arizona's as well, if they win another game, we'll probably jump them too. But there's a whole feature on Tankathon called like the strength of schedule rooting list where you have to look at all the games that affect your strength of schedule. It fluctuates game by game. So we can get to week 18 and this shit could look drastically different. I don't believe Washington can pick no lower than 9th or any higher than the 2nd, but 4-13 should lock us in the top 3. But with Cardinals and the Patriots, with the Patriots winning a game, if the Cardinals win a game, we can get number 2. This is my dream because I want Washington in the most advantageous area of the draft, which is the 2nd overall pick. Meaning, if you want to move to 1, you're right there. It's not going to cost as much as moving from 7, 8, 9 to 1. If you want to trade back, you can trade back a few spots, get a bunch of picks, and still get a blue chip elite player. Or you can stick and pick one of the few elite players in the draft. This is where you want to be. You don't want to be picking in the teens. You want to be picking right here. Top 3, top 2 preferred, but top 3. This is the spot. We're going to be going through an exhausting argument all offseason, left tackle versus quarterback. And both things can be true. You can be right picking a tackle, and you can be right picking a quarterback. One, we don't even know who the decision makers are yet. Let's find out what GM coach combination, what the front office looks like. Two, pigeonholing yourself into a position is stupid. I want guys that come in and do thorough due diligence, go through the process of vetting all the players, all the positions. I don't want guys saying we will 100% draft blank at 2, at 3. No, do the process. Don't Sonny Weaver Jr. from draft day, Vontae Mack no matter what. No, have a plan. Go through said plan, go through said process. There's no, you have to go tackle in the first round or you can't fix the O-line. That's stupid. That's moronic thinking. You also can't say you have to go quarterback on the. You don't have to fucking do anything but pick a really good player. Period. That's called objectivity. Period. It's a stupid argument. We're going to sit here and have these arguments all offseason. For those saying, if you don't take a tackle in the first round, how can you fix the O-line? Nigga, because we have 2 second and third round picks, and we have 9 picks in total in the draft. The O-line not going to get fixed just because we pick Olu Fashanu or Joe Alt. The O-line ain't magically fixed because we picked one of those guys. We still got other rounds in the draft. We still got $100 million to spend. It can go either way. But picking in the top 3 gives you the ultimate flexibility to do whatever it is the hell you want at the top of the draft. And you may be able to get the best player in the draft because if Chicago keeps Eberflus and Poles, they may be keeping Justin Field. They may be running it back with him. And the best player in the draft, Caleb Williams, may be available to the Washington Commanders, which is a dream come true for me. I love Caleb Williams. I don't care if he's arrogant, eccentric. I don't care about none of that shit. Carry act a little light skin. Don't bother me none. And also, another thing, don't draft local guys. They never work. We're not going to sit here and tell a new GM and a new coach in 2023 that they can't do something because it didn't work here for the last 20,000 regimes. Local guys aren't the problem. It's the player and the people that pick the player. Let's not take a local guy ever. Let's not draft a quarterback because our last time we did it, it didn't work. No, that's stupid. That's loser shit. That's pussy. Scared money don't make money. You got to take a chance. If there's one thing I do know in this league, if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have anything. And yes, you need line. You need an offensive line. You don't need the best line in the league, though. That's not required if you got a special talent at the quarterback position. I like Sam Howell. I like the effort. I like that he tried his damnedest to try to fight against history. He was playing against history, data, statistics. It's very unlikely that a 5th rounder is going to be the franchise quarterback for your football team. And that's facts. There's a million different cases of evidence that prove this data. But a lot of Sam Howell's deficiencies were self-inflicted. A lot of the sacks, a lot of the interceptions were self-inflicted. And I'm sorry, like it's true. Remember when we used to go earlier in the season, which sacks are on the quarterback and which sacks are on the O-line? A lot of it was on Sam. As good as the flashes were of Sam held the offense back a little bit. Jacoby Brissett comes in and the offense automatically looks different. Receivers are magically open, hands work, and there's rhythm, and it feels like there's a plan going at that point. But I'm ready to get to January 8th. I don't know about y'all. I'm ready to get those notifications that our jobs are vacant and that we are requesting to interview GM and head coaching candidates. Josh Harris and company have now had a full season and a few months on the job to vet, get their short list together, and attack. I imagine they know exactly the structure of the front office that they want. And the word on the street is that he wants to structure this thing like the Baltimore Ravens. I am all for that shit. Y'all see the Ravens last night? Best team in the league right now. One of the best drafting, best run organizations in the league. Their front office structure. Joe Ortiz, their director of player personnel, a guy they've been trying to hide from the league for quite some time. He may be on the short list. I imagine he will be. And with the connection to Eugene Shin, our new analytics guy who will have a say and have his hat in the ring for all decisions made, football and off the season, He may be in our plans. Y'all see that young defensive coordinator for Baltimore? I am totally not trying to go for a defensive-minded coach. I want a young offensive-minded coach. But Mike Macdonald, I'm just saying, defensive-minded head coach, defensive coordinator. He's only 36 years old. He's young. That's what I want. I want this team to be sprinkled with a youth infusion of forward thinker to push this thing ahead. I can't do the boomer thing no more. So if they decide it's not Ben Johnson and they want to go Mike McDaniel, defensive coordinator of the Ravens, I'm all for it. Pair him with an executive from Baltimore. Just make it a Baltimore party in this motherfucker. Let's build and let's do things correctly. I trust anything that comes from Baltimore. They've done this thing right for the majority of 2 decades now. They're always in the dance. They always have a ticket to the party. They always have a chance. They will have a chance to get to the big game and to win it all this year. So I'm not upset about that. I would be totally fine with poaching an executive from Baltimore like Joe Ortiz, hiring their defensive coordinator, and going to get us a dual threat quarterback in the first round of the draft. If that's what they want to do, go for it. I'm all ears. What we need to do as fans is put our pride and our opinions aside. Whatever they feel is best. If there is a thorough plan, let's just see it through, because they deserve the right to build this shit in their vision. And let's just see if there's a plan this time. Because Ron and them boys, there was not a plan. They were just sitting back and letting shit happening. They were just reacting to whatever was happening to them. And that's why in year 4, we're going 4-13. We look like a dumpster fire, and we look like the worst team in the entire National Football League. There's a chance the Panthers fuck around and win another game. And in that case, it gets real interesting, because then even the number 1 pick becomes available. I'm all for a multitude of ways to build my franchise. I just want to see it done right, because the first time in my life, I'm going to see us hire a front office, have the front office hire a coach, and then them work in lockstep to build out the roster. We have money, and we are an attractive destination. All new words, all new feelings going into the offseason. I'm here for it. Let's get these last 2 L's out the way, and let's go 2024 and beyond to new beginnings for Washington football. I appreciate us trying with EB, and I appreciate us trying with Sam Howell. Sam Howell's still on the roster for 2 years, making pennies as a 5th-round draft pick. He's going to be here regardless of what they do at the quarterback position. So, best of luck, guys. I appreciate your efforts, but the experiment failed. The experiment failed, and the new regime has all the power and the autonomy to say, we're going to go get our guy. And however they decide to go get that guy, we need to accept it as fans, and we need to move with it. I'm a fan of the team more than I'm a fan of the players. Players come and go. As a fan, we were here before the players. We will be here after the players. We will always be here riding for our team. That's why I try to not over-attach myself to players. All these fan high, fan factions, and dick eating that fans do to certain players, it skews your thinking when it comes to this. A month ago, I told you Sam Howell was a franchise quarterback, and as after 6 weeks of more data proved, it looks like they're going to move off of him, and I totally understand it. He's been a nightmare for 6 weeks. Does that mean he's a bust? No. It just means this year he ain't it, and I totally would understand why new guys would come in here and pick a new quarterback. It's that simple. You don't got to ride for these niggas like you're sleeping with them. You don't got to treat these players like babies. They're grown men athletes. Players come and go. Whatever quarterback you put behind center, I'll support him. I'll support him, and I'll hope for the best. Except for the last 2 weeks of this season. I need both of these to be L's. I need big, fat, capital L's to end the season versus San Francisco and Dallas. And then let's move. Let's go interview some folks. Let's go interview the Ben Johnsons, the Jim Harbaughs, the Mike McDonalds, the Bobby Slowicks of the world, Frank Smiths, GMs. Let's go interview some Adam Peters, Mike Borgonzis, Joe Ortiz, Alec Hallaby, Ian Cunningham, Andy Well. There's so many ways this could go. And I don't care if the hires are someone that I prefer them to be or someone else. But just have foresight, have a plan, and have the hires make sense. Don't just hire guys just to hire them. You've had all season to evaluate. I'm looking at you, Josh Harris. I'm looking very closely at how we handle the month of January. A staff needs to be set before the final week of January because that's Senior Bowl week. And the whole league is down there at Senior Bowl week down in Mobile watching draft prospects. We'll have our staff by the final week of January. I'm excited to see how we do it. I'm excited to see how many people we interview. We don't got to do the Giants or the Chargers thing where we got to interview 14, 15 people. We don't got to do all that. Interview your handful of people at both positions, make your hire, and let's go. I know it can be a little complicated interviewing coaches when the playoffs are taking place, but get her done. Get her done, and let's move to 2024. Draft position is the only thing Washington fans have to look forward to over the last 2 weeks of the season, and I don't think there's any debate or doubt about such. Washington's 4-11. Washington will be 4-13 in 2 more weeks. More content to come later on the channel. Have a happy Kwanzaa, Christmas, Hanukkah, all the above. Y'all stay safe, and let's get through these last 2 weeks of the season so we can get towards our new beginnings. Hail to the Washington Commanders.